All right. And what is up, Slippery Rock? It is Xiao Pao here. You are listening to our third installment of the Random Album Review Show. We're going to be talking about the classic album, Purple Rain by Prince. With me, as always, in the other side, we got DJ Brickhouse. Say what is up to all the people, DJ Brickhouse.
What is up?
How's it going today?
Pretty good. Good.
You excited?
I'm very excited. I love Prince.
Awesome. It's going to be a great episode. Just want to do a quick double check. We are recording, correct?
Yep.
All right. Awesome. We have been having some technical difficulties at the start here, but we are going to be bringing this to you a little late, but still, we wanted to make sure we had everything all set. Speaking of all set, I just remembered that I still have to get one more thing in place, the actual music itself. So, that's important. With that, though, DJ Brickhouse, why don't you give us some of your just initial feelings? You were very excited whenever this album won our poll that we did.
Yeah, I told everybody to vote for it.
Absolutely. Cheater.
Stop.
Still, though, obviously a very, very good album to be selected for this show. And our first sort of, I don't want to say old album, but it's our first old album that we've done on this show.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much, we still got one date left to decide for the rest of the semester, but most of the dates are finalized in our schedule. And it's definitely the oldest album that we're going to be doing. We have one more date that we have to talk about. We might pull something else in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely just sort of give us your initial thoughts and what you're excited to hear from this listening experience of the album. And why you wanted this to win so bad.
Well, partially because it's my mom's favorite album. I hope she listens to this.
Oh yeah, she better.
Yeah, I'll be sad if she doesn't. But I don't know. This album just puts me in a good mood. It's
definitely.
It's it's full of bops, for lack of a better word. It's sexy. I don't know how to even express it.
Yeah, no, but I completely agree with you 100%. Definitely, like you said, full of bops. Really, we look for consistent albums on the show, and this is about as consistent as an album as it gets.
Honestly.
There isn't really a bad song on here. I have one that I'm kind of meh about, but you disagree with me very much.
Do.
So we can talk about that later, though. But yeah, just all around, one of the all-time greats too. I don't have my notes out with me because we were kind of running around like crazy. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of this and a few other albums are considered just how historic they are. They're just considered
legendary.
Yeah, so genre bending, so influential. Influential is a great word for it. It is so funny. I've been listening to this album a few times, and even listening back to it today, one of the songs I was like, this sounds so familiar. Literally, certain aspects of this album, artists are still ripping off today. They're still doing the exact same thing. There's one, I'm not going to blast the artist, but there's one song in particular on this album. I think it's the second track it's the third one, where an artist today literally made a song a year or two ago that literally copies the exact thing that Prince is doing with word for word and notes that he's hitting, 100% plagiarism. And I think that's just a sign of how influential a style can be. Other main takeaway I took from this album, especially when I was re-listening to it today, really ahead of its time with the use of synths. The synths on this album are incredible, absolutely insane. There's one song in particular, I believe Take Me With You is the one I'm thinking of. It's it was recorded yesterday, and this thing was made in 84. Sorry, I'm giving it too much credit. 84. It's made in 1984. And the stuff they are pulling with the synth layers is just insane and really remarkable. We can use a bunch of adjectives all day. Just an iconic album. every single song uses the same type of like drum beat, but whenever you hear that like snare, that like electric snare, like it 100% just like, this is Prince. Like it's so recognizable. Obviously this album is like a soundtrack to the film of the same name. We're not going to spend too much time talking about the film, just because it's the random album review show, so we only talk about the music.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do like a film report in preparation for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, even when you're talking about it out of context from the film, just as an album by itself, it's just incredible, which is really, really awesome whenever I'm listening to like soundtracks in particular. Whenever they're able to stand independently, it's really, really special.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I don't think of this as like the soundtrack to a movie.
Not at all. No.
Like, yeah, it's a Prince album.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely one of the best albums to come out. One of the best pop albums to come out in the past 4 decades or so. But yeah. That kind of breaks down all of our initial thoughts before we get too deep into here. So I think we're going to get it popping here in a second.
Get it popping.
All right. And getting popping we will, because this first track on the album, I mean, in my opinion, is the best song. It's
a great opener.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's a great album opener. Definitely, in my opinion, the best Prince song ever made. One of the best songs in general I've ever heard in my life. Even before I sort of began listening to the album as a whole, growing up, I would hear this track and be like, what the heck? Because, yeah, that's another thing, is like, I didn't even know Prince. I think I alluded to this earlier, like a few episodes ago, or maybe it was just my show. I didn't even know who Prince was until like probably like 15 or 16. Like, it was really later. Yeah, I got a really late, because I was listening to a lot of 80s music even when I was like 9. But for some reason, probably because of the hypersexual nature of every Prince song ever made, I never listened to Prince growing up. And like, I knew who Michael Jackson was, but I didn't know Prince. And then I remember the very first one I listened to was Let's Go Crazy, and I was just like, what is this? Like, who is this insane... The guitar solo in that is like, has to be one of the best guitar solos ever made in a song. Just that just closing the track out with that, like, it's just so iconic, and so much of why Prince is so special to me personally. Just his ability as a guitarist, let alone his ability to make music, his ability to sing, his ability to create art. I mean, all that stuff. And just immediately when I think of him, I think of this song. And in particular, a performance I saw him do towards the end of his life. I believe, I can't remember the exact year it was, but there was a performance he did at some point. I don't think it was on an episode of SNL. It might have even been like an anniversary thing for SNL. Or no, it was like an after party. I'm trying to remember this as I'm like talking. No, there was an after party for SNL after one of the big episodes. It might have been like the 40th. I don't know if that happened before or after he died. But he did a performance of Let's Go Crazy, and literally the dude, we got to the solo, and live he just does it and expands upon it. I think it was like 2 minutes long. It was seriously so, like, he just absolutely kills it. Whenever he's on stage, he kills the solo, just showing you that, like, and just, I just get so overwhelmed whenever I hear that, and whenever, like, I think of that, just how crazy talented the dude is as a musician, and the fact that he's thought of as, like, a pop star, when he also fits into that category as a just pure, amazing guitarist. But we're going to quit talking about it. We're going to listen to this crazy track. We're going to start off Purple Rain by Prince. Opening track is, of course, Let's Go Crazy. Keep it locked right here on 88.1 FM, WSRU, the voice of the rock.
I don't understand the youth these days.
all their rock and roll music and their 88.1 FM WSRU Slippery Rock. All right. That was obviously our opener on the album. Let's Go Crazy. Just as good, if not better, than I remember it. It just, every single time I hear that, I'm just like, I can't believe this was made in 1984. So ahead of its time. And just, you get, again, it's a great opener because you really get the sense of what you're in for with, again, the synths, all the sort of elements that Prince was doing that really other artists were only like just opening the box to. Yeah. Like I've definitely heard a lot of 80s pop that uses like drum machines and synths in a similar fashion, but it's not nearly this like complex and intricate. It's just basic. It's basics. And yeah, because of how deep he goes with that and how insane it all comes together, it just seems so like ahead of its time. So yeah. That's just a great song.
Yeah, it like, I mean, I guess every song on this album just makes me want to like dance.
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
If I could. Like yeah,
absolutely.
I was reading, I don't know, I think it was from like genius.com, like when he sings like we can't let the elevator bring us down, like that is the song's about like God and Satan, I guess. And
yeah,
like,
I read that somewhere too. The whole theme of the song, and I think the album in general, is like God is like
like a
religious,
spiritual. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And this quote here from Prince in 1997 says, "Let's Go Crazy was about God and Satan. I had to change those words up. The de-elevator was Satan in that song. And Let's Go Crazy was God to me. Stay happy, stay focused, and you can beat the de-elevator." And you had to change the words because you can't say like God on the radio, you know. So.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, no, that is super interesting.
Odd.
But, yeah, no, yeah. It's always cool whenever, I mean, this is our third one, and all the albums we've talked about have had like at least one song, if not more, with like radio appeal, I guess, and like mainstream appeal. And so it's awesome whenever we're talking about these albums, and these are songs that became very influential and became radio hits for a long period of time, and they've cemented themselves like in terms of the songs as being like focal points in music history. But it's not just like just meaningless lyrics and fluff like people consider most mainstream music to be.
Yeah.
When musicians are still being artists, they're still being artistic, but at the same time, they're still grabbing everyone's attention.
Yeah.
For maybe the different reasons or the same reason. And that's what makes albums like this and all the albums we talk about so special.
It's so much deeper and more artistic than you think it is. Like, you think it's just a good song.
Right.
Like, yeah.
A lot of albums that we talk about on the show, that what's making them so special is because a person who doesn't really care or doesn't focus too much loves it. And then the person who, like us, looks at like the little things, we can both love it with the same appreciation. Which I think is applicable for all three albums we've done so far, and definitely more of them in the future. There's some that we're going to talk about that aren't as popular, but for a lot of them, I think that's what makes them very, very cool and special.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead and get into our second song in the album, which I, in the past, haven't really paid much attention to, but listening to it earlier today, I was like, wow, I can't believe I was missing out on this. You start out and you finish with just some insane, absolutely ridiculous drum fills right at the beginning and the end of the track. And I really just like it's a really catchy melody, and it's just like a few little like notes and stuff. And I love the strings throughout it. It's just got a really upbeat, catchy sound to it that I really enjoy. Yeah, and definitely, again, keeps the dancey vibe going for sure. Like the whole album, except for like a few slow ballads. But yeah, without further ado, here is Take Me With You, the second track off of Purple Rain by Prince. Keep it locked right here on 88.1 FM, WSRU, the voice of the rock. All right, that was the second track off of the album, Take Me With You. And yeah, like we said before, just a really cool use of strings on that one. Just a nice little...
Yeah. My first thought when it came on was like, wow, this is really like theatrical. Like it actually sounds like a movie soundtrack.
Oh yeah, this is definitely like, for sure. And I also like that this is one of, it obviously still uses like keyboards and stuff. Mm-hmm. But out of all the tracks, this is probably the least like synth heavy and the least like electronic sounding. But if you think of that like main melody, that bop, 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 that's like built for something like that.
Yeah.
So I almost like more so that he switches it up and it uses that element of like strings. Mm-hmm. Especially like you said in the context of a movie when it's backing like theatrical stuff.
Yeah. It has to be simple, but it also has to like convey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the case with a lot of these other tracks that we're going to get into. Is they're not all as like sort of crazy, for lack of a better word, as like Let's Go Crazy, and like they're not insanely like. There's not a ton of stuff happening. Some of them are pretty simple, but he still finds a way. Him and people and the Revolution and all the people producing, they find a way to work outside of the box and make even the simplest tracks like pretty in depth.
Yeah,
which again is what makes this album so legendary.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
I like the little finger symbols.
Yes, absolutely. I was actually thinking that earlier. I almost forgot to bring it up, but yeah.
Super cute.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, absolutely. All the little things make it pretty cool.
Make a big difference. Without those finger symbols, this track would not be the same.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, so with that, I think we're going to get into our third track. This one is called The Beautiful Ones. And this, quite simply, is just some of the best, just use of keyboards and synthesizers I've heard on a song from the 80s, like ever in my life. Some of the best. This track in particular, especially towards the end. It sort of builds as it goes along, and by the I think 2/3 of the way through probably is when it really picks up, and it's just incredible. So I'm excited to listen to this one. Hope you guys are too. Here is The Beautiful Ones, the third track off of Purple Rain by Prince. Keep it locked here on 88.1 FM, WSRU, the voice of the rock. All right, so that was The Beautiful Ones, the third track off of Purple Rain.
Very emotional.
Yeah, that's our first sort of slower, more powerful one on the album. We got some ones come up later that are that sort of same speed. Nice break with all the fast-paced stuff we've heard so far. But yeah, good stuff.
I think it starts out as like, just like a regular ballad, and by the end he's just like screaming, and it's just like so emotional. Like, I can't even put words to it.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Especially towards the end, when he's doing that scream again. That's some. Yeah.
It really gets me.
Very ahead of his time with the screamo.
Oh my gosh. Apparently, Mariah Carey did a cover of this. I didn't know it.
Right.
On her 1997 album Butterfly.
That's right. You said that.
Yeah. And according to Genius.com, so did Beyonce, but I don't know anything about that. So I'm gonna check that out.
All right. Yeah. No. So apparently that one was pretty well covered.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah. I guess that kind of shows how much of a how much of a pop song that was. It was very accessible, I guess is a better word.
Mm-hmm.
So people really enjoyed covering that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that, so thanks for bringing that up. The only one I know that was covered was after he died at one of the award shows. Madonna did an absolutely awful cover of Purple Rain. It was so bad.
Uh-oh.
I don't even want to talk about it. It was so terrible. It was disgusting.
Oh gosh.
So it was like literally. We're gonna get a little off topic here. Award shows, when an artist dies, they like lick their chops because then they're like, oh, we have to do a tribute. We have to do a tribute, and then each award show tries to beat each other in making like a better tribute. So I remember the one award show did one with Bruno Mars, where Bruno Mars basically like dressed up like Prince, and I was very surprised because he actually killed it. Like he nailed it. I think
I remember that.
And I was really worried because they did Let's Go Crazy, and I was like, that guitar solo, he better not mess it up, and he didn't. He did a really good job. And then shortly after that, another award show was like, oh, we got Madonna, and then Madonna just sang Purple Rain, and it was really disgusting. It was really gross. But we're gonna quit talking about that because that's really off track. We're gonna play the next one, which is Computer Blue. And again, we continue to hear that crack of that like electric snare that you hear for this basically the entire album. And again, the second you hear it, you know, oh, this is Prince. And yeah, I love that everything's connected by that signature like electronic snare sound. I just really dig that. One of the things that makes this album really cool. But yeah. Here's Computer Blue, the fourth track off Purple Rain. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, that one was Computer Blue, the fourth track off Purple Rain. And we did a little bit of an awkward cutoff there because it transitions right into our next track, Darling Nikki, which we're going to talk about for sure here in a sec. Any thoughts on Computer Blue before we do?
Yeah, I don't know. I just really like that one. I always forget how much I like it.
Yeah, no, it's one of the underrated ones off of the album.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. It's not the immediate one you think of, but it's got the same vibe as all the other tracks, and it's just got a very rocky,
definitely one of my
vibe.
favorites.
Yeah.
And the dialogue at the beginning is just very, I don't know, it kind of sets the scene.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So yeah, our fifth track, Darling Nikki, is I can't think of any other way to describe it other than one of the most sexual lyric based songs I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. It starts out real strong.
Yeah. Literally within the first few words, you're like, okay, all right, this is where we're going.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm reading this. I'm reading this off of Wikipedia, but I've definitely seen a lot of other places that like, this is one of the songs where like this is one of the songs why they started like putting parental advisory stickers on albums. And it says this person, Tipper Gore, who co-founded the Parents Music Resource Center, witnessed her daughter, who was 11 years old at the time, singing along to this song. So that's probably, yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
A woman was the second lady of the United States. That was Al Gore's
Oh my
wife.
gosh, that's funny.
That's incredible. So the second lady heard Prince and was like, "No, thank you."
The first, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that is amazing. And again, as we kind of said earlier, that's one of the reasons why I feel like you don't. Now, knowing what I know now, I personally consider Michael Jackson and Prince to be like on the same level in terms of, I don't know, overall influence, I'd say, for lack of a better word. But I didn't even know who he was for the longest time, and that's partially why, is because he wasn't making music to necessarily for the purpose of getting as much radio play as possible. I mean, he was creating songs that got tons of radio play, but I mean, he didn't shy away from provocative material, I guess.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're going to play that Darling Nikki. Before we do, because it's right at the top of the hour, we're going to do a quick station ID, and then I'm going to read I'm going to read a disclaimer just in case, even though it is 11 o'clock, because it's pretty provocative material.
Yeah.
So keep it locked right here on 88.1 FM, WSRU.
You come here on the day my daughter is to be wed, and you ask of me to listen to...
Right, Darling Nikki, the 5th track off of Purple Rain, and kind of, I guess, sort of our halfway point in the album. There's actually nine tracks, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. That's actually one of my favorite ones off of the album.
Yeah, I think that's my number one favorite song.
Just because of how unorthodox it is and how adventurous it is.
Yeah.
In terms of its like how it sounds and how it's made and the overall sound of it.
Yeah.
For it being some of the soft and simplest, like, you know, in terms of the verses and how it starts, it's so simple, yet still so bonkers.
Yeah. Bonkers.
Yeah. And then obviously by the end it just gets crazy. Yeah, like I said, one of those most adventurous songs on the album for sure. And an album where we're talking about is so adventurous at the time it was made.
Yeah.
So definitely a significant part of it.
Yeah, and that organization I was talking about, Al Gore's wife, I guess, starting the Parents Music Research Center.
As DJ Nixon informed us.
Yeah. And apparently they published this list called the Filthy 15, the top 15 songs recommended to be banned. And that song's number 1, like in 1985. They thought it was the number 1 song that should be banned.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you have any of the other songs that were on that list, just out of curiosity? If not, it's no big deal.
There's like Eat Me Alive by Judas Priest, Let Me Put My Love Into You by AC/DC, Dress You Up Madonna, Trash by Black Sabbath, She Bop by Cyndi Lauper. Those are just a few of them.
Wow, yeah. So I think a common theme in most of those.
Yeah, most of them, it actually lists the subject matter. Most of them are sex.
Right.
There's a couple violence, a couple drug and alcohol use, and a couple occult.
Some of them were probably just like, they were just metal songs, so they got scared. Yeah. But no, most of the subject matter was pretty reaching the sort of line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I also love, I think one of the things that we have to talk about, at least one of the connections I made earlier, which I kind of love, is that chorus when the drums kind of just explode with all the crash cymbals. It perfectly just sort of brings out the idea that like it just instantly, as I was listening to it, the first thing I thought of was, you know, humping. So I think it just adds to the overall like sort of idea with that song. It's just so cool when artists can execute stuff like that.
Yeah. To
connect everything together.
Yeah, it's so really this song is so sexual. I can't believe it. Yeah. And
beyond the lyrics. Like anybody can put like lyrics about sex to anything, but this is genuinely
music is sexual.
If you took all of the words out of this song, it's still a song about sex.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. And that part at the end, I never really looked into it, but like they're like backmasked vocals, and the vocals are, "Hello, how are you? I'm fine, because I know that the Lord is coming soon, coming soon."
Oh, is that what they're saying at the end?
Yeah, just backwards, and like, and I'm gonna read this thing off of Genius again. It says, "This song is about the battle between Prince's religion and sexual urges. This portion is backmasked and sung in a gospel style. It could represent Prince's repenting his sins after his night with the devil." That's crazy.
That is crazy. That is so yeah, again, the whole album, the whole idea is light versus dark.
Yeah,
like heaven versus hell.
battle with his like
Including-
religion,
yeah.
spirituality, and like his expression of self.
His yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Such a crazy dude. I mean, not crazy in the sense, but just like an amazing,
Yeah, like
awesome dude.
wild out there.
He made like
yeah.
over 40 albums in his life.
Yeah, this
like
is
over
like
40 in the span of like 37 years of a musical career.
Yeah.
Like that's insane. That's like 1.0 something albums per year.
Mhm. I think this is like his 6th or his 9th.
Yeah, this
something
wasn't like
that. Yeah,
this-
no, this isn't.
this
is
isn't like the
6th.
first album or anything.
Yeah.
This was definitely in his peak of his career, I'd say.
Mhm.
The album is probably the peak of his career.
Yeah.
But yeah. So up next we got a track that is it's one of the more popular ones. It might even be more popular than Let's Go Crazy.
I think this is like the second most popular, right behind Purple Rain.
Right. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So, and definitely has the most recognizable like 5 seconds of any Prince song ever, and it's just that beginning, that like that guitar solo, the most recognizable. Like as soon as you hear it, you're like, "When Doves Cry," Prince, let's go.
Yeah.
And just even more so, his vocal riffing on the end when he's just absolutely like, it's just insane. It just shows so much ability as a singer. But yeah, we're gonna listen to it. Here is "When Doves Cry," the 6th song off of Purple Rain by Prince. "When Doves Cry," such an just awesome, iconic Prince song. And again, just simple. I mean, obviously towards the end it gets very not simple, but at its
Yeah.
core, it's a very, they're just able to accomplish so much just by a basic concept, which is just really, really cool because they're just able
Yeah.
to build upon it. I love music artists who just take like a simple idea with the beginning structure of a song and then they just build and build and build until you get something crazy.
Yeah.
But again, like you brought up while we were off air, it doesn't have a bass line. Like not at all.
yeah.
Like I just listened to it and it's just the percussion in the background. There's no bass line whatsoever.
Yeah, I love it. Also, Prince, like he's playing all of everything on this. He's doing the vocals and he's doing all of the instruments on this track,
Right.
which I think is always cool when artists do that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This just shows how talented they are.
Right. Right, yeah. And there are select few musicians who are able to do that. And he's obviously one of them. So that's really, really, really neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are rolling right on through this
Yeah.
one. It's a lot shorter than I remember it.
Really?
It's a very short album, yeah. I mean,
Oh, the whole album. I thought you
Yeah.
meant that specific song.
oh no, that song was 6 minutes long.
Yeah, I know.
That's a long song. I mean, not like too long, but like it's a good length
Yeah.
for sure.
I really like the lyrics. I'm just looking at
yeah.
them right now,
The
and
lyrics
they're
are-
really
lyrics are
like
so
pretty.
cool.
Like,
yeah.
dream if you can, a courtyard, an ocean of violets in bloom.
Yeah, very poetic lyrics for a pop
Yeah.
song. Yeah, for sure.
I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
One of the best. I really dig this next one too. For the simple fact that I very much consider it to be a ballad, just for its title alone. Like that's the song. That's the title of like. If some other artist used this title, it would be like a song that's like really slow and like boring.
Yeah.
This is the fastest paced ballad I've ever heard in my life. Like, just listening to it, it's such a fast song.
It really is.
But it's
it's
straight
one
up,
of the fastest ones on the album. I
and
think.
it's
Like, it
it's
feels
just
like it.
yeah, it's just a straight up like love ballad at its core, which is something that you don't see a lot. So that's really neat.
Yeah.
And
And I think that says something about Prince, that he doesn't have to rely on like the tempo for people to understand the emotion that he's putting into it.
oh yeah, he doesn't care. He'll
Yeah.
put emotion into like he'll put emotion into a metal song or something.
Yeah,
like
he
that.
can make you want to go crazy to like a super slow song.
Yeah.
Just look at Darling Nikki.
Yeah, absolutely. So cool.
Hmm.
And just the overall sound, like I keep hearing it and just like this is a precursor to literally all of the music that I enjoy today. Like it's a variation of something like that they sort of based off of this sound. Like the sound was so revolutionary, and so many artists like sort of are influenced by it. So neat.
Yeah, I just think it's really funny and fitting that they're called Prince and the Revolution because
revolutionary sound.
Honestly, revolutionary. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, without further ado, here is the 7th track off of Purple Rain by Prince, and it is called "I Would Die for You." And I just want to say before I forget, I also think it's very revolutionary that Prince, with the titles of all these tracks, whenever he says "you," he uses the letter U, and when he says 4, he uses the number 4.
Yeah.
On all the tracks for this album. That is all. Yeah, really, really awesome.
Yeah,
ahead of his time with that. But yeah, here is "I Would Die for You." All right, "I Would Die for You." As we said, one of the most fast-paced and driving love ballads ever made. Again, just cool. Like I said, most love ballads are boring, but this one's pretty neat.
Yeah. There's some really interesting lyrics.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, it starts out with "I'm not a woman, I'm not a man." You know.
Yeah.
So, like, Prince is pretty androgynous. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I mean, yeah.
But then I was just reading, again, on Genius, that he, like, talking about him, like, kind of, like, referencing himself, like comparing himself to Jesus, because he's supposed to die for the sins of people and everything, like, and then he says, "I'm your Messiah." So that's just like, I thought that was interesting.
For sure, yeah. It's cool that the whole album, other than just being like, the background music to a movie that he made, it's got every single track has a recurring theme to it.
Yeah, like all these religious connotations.
Right. Which, I don't know if we can say it 100% for the last album we talked about, but definitely the first one. We were talking about a long time, because we talked for like 2 hours on that one.
Yeah.
Just that whole idea of everything sort of being connected in terms of the lyrical content, in addition to the overall sound. Very cohesive. And still, you got bangers in there.
Yeah.
that's when that's what I love, is just when everything like is so unified in an album, especially when you're talking about pop albums.
Yeah, it just
and
really
then
fits
and then
together
also
really well.
and then also you also just got bangers in there where you can play them by, we can play them by themselves and in a playlist.
Yeah, and they go off.
and yeah, stuff gets crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, just really cool. For sure. But yeah, with that, I'm kind of just stalling for time so we can do a station ID right at 120, 128, 130-ish. But yeah, we got 2 more songs left on the album. This next one was the one we were talking about earlier. We kind of had some disagreement on this one. In my personal opinion, it's not a bad song. Out of all of them, I consider it to be the most underwhelming. And like I said, if we were talking about the movie, it probably makes a lot more sense than how I'm like listening to it.
Yeah.
It probably makes a lot more sense in the context of a movie, because it relates to some sort of like, I don't know, like triumph or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I just don't feel as strongly on this one, I guess, as some of the other tracks on the album.
Yeah, I can't pick a least favorite at all. I'm trying really hard, and I can't do it.
Mine's definitely this one.
Okay, I get it.
I'm not trying to like attack a point or anything. I'm just saying all of them are like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, and this one's like 7 out of 10.
I think "Take Me With You" might be my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, my least favorite is in
right. No, I understand.
Yeah, like you said,
explain.
I like all the other ones are like 9 out of 10.
Right,
so it's like an 8.5.
No, you're good. You don't have to explain yourself.
I wanna.
But yeah, that's just interesting, because Take Me With You is like probably top 4 for me. Top 5. I really enjoy that one. I don't know. They're all really good. I'd say the beautiful ones. Oh, wait, no. That one has crazy synth work towards the end. So, no, not that one. Yeah, Baby I'm a Star, and then after that, I don't even know. Probably I Would Die for You, honestly. They're all so good.
Oh my gosh, Okay, I think my favorite's Computer Blue.
Okay.
Oh no, Darling Nikki, then Computer Blue.
Yeah.
And then I Would Die for You, then The Beautiful Ones, then When Doves Cry, then Let's Go Crazy. Yeah.
Etc.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to listen to Baby I'm a Star right after we do this quick station ID. Keep it locked.
You're listening to 88.
All right, that one was Baby I'm a Star, the second to last track on the album. Yeah, just a fun one. Just a fun track.
Yeah.
And-
that's a bop.
And real quick, I hate to put you on the spot, DJ Burkhouse, but as being our genius expert over there, did they do some backwards talking again in that one?
Yeah, I was just gonna talk about that.
Okay, yeah, because I definitely heard it towards the end and the beginning.
Yeah, it's really subtle. Like, you can't even really notice it. It kind of just sounds like sounds.
Right. I thought it was something cutting in. Like, I thought I had automation turned partly on, like, or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah. I can't say I can't read all of it. But it says, like, what the F do they know? All their taste is in their mouth. Really, what the F do they know? Come on, baby, let's go crazy.
Huh.
And it's not really, it's not giving me any, like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
but
I think it's up for interpretation. The first thing I think of is, okay, in the context of the song, Baby I'm a Star, and all at the end, all the people, like, cheering him on and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then saying, what the bleep do they know?
Yeah,
basically kind of
like,
criticizing the public.
Yeah. Like, I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then all their taste is in their mouth. Like, they're not really open to new anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not putting that into very good words.
No, this is, I think I'm on the same boat with you. I think we're kind of thinking along the same lines. So yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Big fan
personal
of
analysis.
Basket.
Who needs the internet?
Yeah.
We
Honestly.
actually did the job we were supposed to do today. But yeah, that's really interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, I just that song really energizes me a lot. That's why I like it.
It's got a lot of energy for sure. As
Yeah.
does a lot of the rest of the album.
Like, it's stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Already it's gonna be stuck in my head.
I think that's one of the reasons I don't like it. It's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of the freaking week.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
But yeah,
Everything gets stuck in my head pretty easy. It's just catchy. It's catchy.
it's very catchy. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We are reaching the end of our show here. We're not running low on time, especially because we only have one song left. But yeah, we're almost
long
through.
Song. I think we have a perfect amount of time left.
Yeah, I do too. Now that I'm looking at it, I thought we would be a little pressed for time, but no, we're good. All right, so yeah, next track is the final track of the album, title track, the name of the
I'll know it.
name of the album, name of the movie. It's about perspiration that is slightly blue. Yeah, just one of the most emotional tracks he's ever made, and of all time, one of the best. I think it's one of the best, like, slow tracks I've ever heard. One of my fave slow tracks, as I'm not a huge fan of, like, really slow music, but this is definitely one of the better ones.
But I feel like, for me, I'm not a big fan of, like, slower music either, but for me, I feel like it kind of, like, lacks more of a true, like, kind of, not, like, raw emotion, I guess. That's what is important to me, and I feel like that comes more with, like, faster music for some reason, but this is, like, he really puts himself into it.
Right.
So that's why I like it.
I don't think putting emotion into music, I don't think has ever been, like, a weakness of Prince. I think he's pretty capable of that no matter what. So yeah, that's just what makes it so special. Is mainly just it's him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If somebody else did this, and like I said, somebody else did, it's just not the same. Whenever people cover it, it's just not the same. But yeah.
He's
one of a kind, that dude is.
honestly.
Rest in peace. Here is Purple Rain, the title and final track of the album. Keep it locked. We're going to be giving our sort of final thoughts after this. All right. Purple Rain. What more can we say? A lot, actually.
Yeah.
We're talking about it a lot after. But yeah. Really, really pretty ending. God.
Oh, I love it.
It's so good.
Very apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, tying into the lyrics.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah. Listen to this, guys. It's crazy.
Listen to this, guys.
No, it's this is so crazy. Apparently, Prince said in an interview, when there's blood in the sky, red and blue, like the sky, that's purple. So it's purple rain because there's blood in the sky. And then another thing here says...
Which is relating to the theme that you're going to talk about in a second about the apocalypse, right?
Yeah. Like, purple rain pertains to the end of the world and being with the one you love and letting your faith guide you through the purple rain. So, yet again, referring back to Prince's, religious connotations of this, entire album. But, what the song is actually about, he never actually said. So, his, band members, in interviews, they've talked about it, he never actually said, and then one of them said, we'll be talking about what his lyrics meant forever, and we don't know, we didn't ask him, and he wouldn't have told you.
Right.
I think that's super cool.
Right.
Just leaving it up for interpretation.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I think it's about the end of the world.
Right. I think most people can agree, and even he was sort of alluding to that during that interview.
Mm-hmm.
But they're never going to give you the entire specifics because that takes the experience out of it.
Absolutely. Part of the point of listening to music is what you think it means.
Right. Absolutely.
Which is why it's so beautiful, and I love it so much.
Yeah. So yeah, we knocked it out. That's Purple Rain by Prince. The whole album. Really, I'm really happy we did this one. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't looking forward to it too much.
I know you weren't.
Not saying that I was like, oh, this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely not. Whenever we started this process, it wasn't an album that I typically. I wasn't familiar with it. I guess I knew the hits and I had listened to at least every song once before, but I guess I was just uncomfortable from not being. Used to the songs, I guess.
Yeah.
But that provided me an opportunity to actually pay attention and listen to it. And
yeah, absolutely.
So I'm very happy I did. It's definitely an album that I'm going to look back to.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely an album I'm going to consider buying on vinyl.
I have my mom's copy of it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
I'm only going to buy it on vinyl if I get an old copy like that. Excuse me. that was cute. But yeah. Because they do so many repressings, especially since he died.
Mm-hmm.
There are millions of repressings of that album. And, I've seen picture discs before, and there's nothing wrong with getting those. Buying music is buying music at the end of the day. But with albums like that and other older albums, I like to get one with history.
Yeah. There's meaning.
Right. I hate to sound cliche with that, but it's I like to get an album that's been places.
Yeah, my mom, I have hers, and she was like, you better not let anything happen to it. It's my prized possession.
Right.
And don't worry, Mom, I'm not. But, yeah.
This will be the...
It's understandable.
Yeah. This will be the third episode in a row that I give a shout-out to moms. And I'll probably do it every single episode.
It.
Yo.
Shout out Sandy.
Shout out to everybody's mom. They're the best. So, yeah, I guess we're just going to kind of... DJ Burkhouse, your final thoughts, overall feelings about the album as a whole.
It's just packed full of emotion. It's hard to describe in words. It's one of those things, there's so much emotion in it that, are there even words to describe it? I think for me, listening to the music says it all and how I feel when I'm listening to it. Like, yeah, I don't know.
You know, part of the reason why I love doing this show the way it's set up right now is that we get to listen to it. Over winter break, we've sort of been planning on doing like mini reviews where we don't listen to the album, we just kind of talk about it, just because we're not going to be on the radio, so we don't have to, I guess. But one of the great things about the way it's set up is that we get to listen to it, and by the end of it, I think every single album we've done so far, and probably every single album we're going to do for the rest of this semester, and however long we do the show for, it's going to create a loss of words. Like, our job is to talk about this album, but by the end of it, there's just so much happening, and they're so meaningful.
Yeah, which is why we picked the albums.
Right, right.
But, like,
and then
it's hard.
By the end, we're going to try and put our feelings into words, and then we just can't. And I think that's what makes it special, especially when you're talking about in the context of, me and you've probably felt similar, or at least close to the same way, with the prior two albums. But not to this extent with this album. Also, millions upon millions upon millions of other people feel the exact same way. That's what makes this one special, is that this has been giving people that exact same feeling of a loss for words and just that raw emotion for so long. And it's now over 30 years later.
Yeah.
And we're still talking about it in that light. So this is one, I mean, who knows if the other albums we talk about in the coming weeks, and in the two that we've done in the past few weeks, who knows if they're going to go down, like, in the history books as being, like, so impactful on the masses. This one definitely will.
Yeah, I hope people remember this forever. Like,
this is hands down one of the most influential albums of all time. I mean,
Prince is an extremely influential artist and important, like,
absolutely,
person in general. Like, if you separate him from his music, just how he presents himself and everything,
he's one of the most important people, like, in American history.
Yeah,
just in terms of an artist and what
contemporary American history. He's really, he really deserves a place.
But yeah, just a really special album. I keep repeating words I've been using all night, which is a common theme on this show. But, you know, just ahead of his time. Just so ahead of his time with the production, how he's able to do everything. Him and his band and the producers just really made something special, and, again, just ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And the use of synthesizers and keyboards are just such a big precursor to all of the music, nearly all the music I enjoy today, that I enjoy listening to on a regular basis. In a way, if you think about it in a way, they wouldn't have existed if it weren't for this album and Prince in general. And I do think, I talked about it earlier, in terms of overall influence, you know, Michael Jackson and Prince, I think you could put on the same level. I think that's where Prince edges Michael out. Is just,
like Michael Jackson was so popular, but, like, and I'm not saying that Michael Jackson wasn't, like, a good artist by any means, but, like, Prince, like, you didn't just listen to his music and listen to the emotion in his music. Like, I don't think Michael Jackson comes close.
He didn't have that, and he didn't have the ability in terms of musician. I mean, one of the most popular pop songs of the decade and of the century was literally done solely by Prince. He did all of the work on it with When Doves Cry.
Yeah. That's insane,
that's
especially for that time.
Right.
You know.
So yeah, just a really, really special album. I'm happy that we were able to do it and talk about it.
And actually, I'm looking in an interview in 1985, Prince actually told Rolling Stone, this is a quote from Prince, "I wish people would understand that I always thought I was bad." What? And then, and I think that says a lot, and I think that's really inspirational, that, like, if Prince thought he wasn't good, and you think you're not good at something, you're probably wrong.
Right. That is genuinely inspiring.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think
my gosh.
I think we're gonna end on that note.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you everybody for listening. This was episode 3 of the Random Album Review Show. Definitely our strongest one, I feel like, so far, just from the sheer fact that we're getting comfortable in our own skin.
Yeah.
For sure.
As Prince did.
Yes. So yeah. Anybody who is maybe isn't aware and isn't following me on social media, I have a new Twitter handle at Adam G Schauer. That's at Adam G SCHAUER. Anywho, some news that we broke a few days ago. We have decided to release our indefinite, nearly full schedule for the rest of this fall 2018 semester for the Random Album Review Show. So next week, October 25th, I am super excited for this, as many other people are. I've been getting tons of messages blowing me up that they're excited for this episode. Next week, October 25th, we are going to be talking about Astro World by Travis Scott, one of the most popular albums to come out this year. Again, no consistency on this show. We're going from one of the, an album from 1984 to an album that came out a few months ago and has just taken the world by storm. Very excited. It's a very consistent, good album. And
I've not listened to Astro World in its entirety. I'm not even sure if I listened to all the songs on it, but I definitely have not listened to it straight through.
I don't know if I want to tell you to listen to it beforehand or if you should just do it then.
I don't know.
I don't know. Because one of the reasons I'm so excited about it is that most of what we're going to have to talk about with it is just, there's not going to be too much, I guess, there's going to be some talk about the lyrics in it. It's just an album full of consistent bangers.
All right.
Which I don't think is a bad thing. I don't see that as a negative.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a different conversation than we've had the past few weeks.
Yeah.
But I guess it's closest to Hot Fuss in that we're not going to spend too much time over analyzing the lyrics. Some of them we can. Some of the songs definitely we can. But overall, it's just a consistently good album that just sounds awesome. And so there's just a lot of things that we can talk about in terms of improvement, in terms of overall sound, the things that I kind of live for.
Maybe I'll listen to his other albums and then wait to listen to Astroworld.
I would definitely recommend listening to Rodeo.
Okay.
You can listen to the second one if you want. It's more of just an average. Rodeo was very, very I don't want to use the word experimental, but it was very it broke the ground for a lot of musicians today. He introduced a lot of things that people are using to this day. Rodeo is really beloved. And that's why people were looking forward to this album so much, and why it was so hyped up, and why we're going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
That is next Thursday, October 25th. We might as well go through all of these. I mean, we're going over midnight, but nobody's coming in after us.
Yeah.
Then the next week, November 1st at 10 p.m., aka 2 hours before my birthday on November 2nd.
Woo!
So, meaning, by the time midnight hits, if we plan it up right, we'll listen to Too Long, the very last track of this album, which is, I can't think of a more perfect way to spend the first minutes of my birthday. We're going to be listening to Discovery by Daft Punk. My favorite album of all time. I said it. Has such a special place in my heart. I don't even know. I can't even... The episode might be 3 hours long. I love talking about this album.
Oh my God.
Every single time I listen to this album with other people, I talk about it. When I'm listening to it to myself, I talk to myself about it. I'm so excited. This album has very, very few lyrics. It's mainly just instrumentals, and there's just so much going on with it. I can't wait to discuss it. That's going to be November 1st, 10 p.m. It'll be up the next day on YouTube, as will all of these. Definitely going to want to check in for that one. November 8th, 2018, we are going to be doing...
You forgot what year it is.
Yeah, it's definitely 2018. Well, people... Who knows how long these will be on YouTube? Probably not long. We'll probably get copyright just for saying artist names. Anywho, November 8th, we're going to be talking about an Arctic Monkeys album. Which one, you might ask? Well, guess what?
We don't know.
We don't know yet. We're going to do a Twitter poll. Again, follow me at Adam G. Schauer. That's at Adam G. SCHAUER. We're going to be posting a Twitter poll letting you, the people, decide which Arctic Monkeys album we talk about.
Mm-hmm. And his Twitter page says, "I'm a Muppet."
Currently,
yes, that is it.
Currently,
not a mistake.
Currently, if you search "I'm a Muppet" in the search bar, you should come up with my Twitter because that's my Twitter name right now. Shout out to Mandizzle at the station. But yeah, we're going to pick a few albums that we would like to talk about, and we're going to let you decide. I'm very, very excited to see what you pick. The one I want to talk about the most, I know won't get picked, but we're still going to make it an option because why not? Anywho. It might. You never know.
Yeah.
It really depends. We just got to get the word out and get everybody voting is the main thing. The next week, November 15th, we're going to be talking about Because the Internet by Childish Gambino.
Woo.
I believe, his second studio album. He's definitely released a lot of mixtapes, but I think that was his second album, if I remember correctly.
He had some mixtapes.
Maybe
an EP before it.
Was Camp a mixtape? It doesn't matter. I don't know. Anyway, Grammy-nominated album. Very, very solid.
Amazing.
I'm excited to talk about it. DJ Burkhouse is definitely excited to talk about it. This is one of her favorite albums of all time. Yeah. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to have a lot to discuss. There's a lot of stuff going on with, again, the theming of that album. Just a lot happening there. Should be a good time. Then the next week we are off for Thanksgiving break. We are going to be home eating turkey because we are college students and we don't want to be on campus during Thanksgiving break.
Taking a lot of leftover turkey.
Yeah. And then the next Tuesday, that's November 27th, we're going to bring our leftover turkey, and we got a big one. This might be the one I'm most excited for, other than Discovery by Daft Punk, because it's just going to be a fun show. I'm expecting a lot of guests. We definitely have one booked for sure. Literally, she wouldn't miss this for the world. Shout out DJ Lanes. November 27th at 8 p.m. We're starting early. We're taking my Tuesday spot. And starting at 8 p.m., we're going to talk about Riot, the first album by Paramore. Then, it's a two-parter. Part 2 of that episode starts November 27th at 10 p.m. We will then be talking about After Laughter by Paramore. So we got a 4-hour episode where we are going to be talking about both the first and the most recent album by Paramore and having a lot of discussion about their change over time, about sort of what's great about both albums, and just a ton of other stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Both albums are great. They're so different. It's going to be tons of fun. I can't wait. It's going to be an amazing time. Then, because we missed a week for Thanksgiving, and that last one was Tuesday, that Thursday, November 29th, at 10 p.m., we are going to be talking about the self-titled album by Mansions.
Woo.
Mansions by Mansions. Very excited for that one, because definitely whenever we started this show, I did not think we would ever talk about this album. But just the more thought through it, it's just a really crazy album that has a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I'm super stoked to talk about it because, again, it's just one that there's going to be so much to cover. A lot happening there.
Number one favorite album.
Plus, it is DJ Burkhouse's number one favorite album, so she's going to have a ball with that.
If you guys don't know, Mansions is Mike Posner and Black Bear.
Right. And
very interesting. It's going to be great.
They released an album together. I think it's safe to say it flew under the radar for a lot of people. I never heard of it for the longest time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be cool to talk about again because it's largely unknown. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of mystery with that.
Yeah.
How are we on time with the recording?
We got 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Solid.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to make sure because we only got one more album to talk about.
Yep.
And then we'll kind of call it quits because we're running over. Anywho, so yeah, Mansions, that'll be November 29th up on YouTube the following day. Mm-hmm. And finally, actually, the week after that. Yes. The week after that, we still have to discuss what album we are doing. I'm going to get that date. December 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, December 6th, we are doing an episode of the Random Album Review, but we don't know what it is yet. I picked one, and immediately the day after, I realized it was a terrible decision. It's a great album, and I do love it, but I don't think it's good for the setting of the show. I think I'll probably talk about it with everybody over winter break as a short album review where we don't listen to the album. But we'll do some deciding on that later. Anywho, so we don't have an idea for that one yet. If you have any ideas of albums you want to hear, please reach out to me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, however you want to get a hold of me. Again, my name is Adam, A-D-A-M, last name Schauer, S-C-H-A-U-E-R. Search me on those social media platforms.
Adam G. Schauer.
Adam G. Schauer on Twitter, at Adam G. Schauer on Twitter. I'm not going to give all my social media handles because this is going on YouTube, and I just realized that as I'm talking. So, look me up, follow me, and request those albums for what you want to hear. But the week after that, our final show will be December 13th, 2018, final show of the semester, and we're going to be doing probably the most requested album among the radio station people. Definitely, in terms of people I'm close with and people I've talked to a lot, definitely the one that they're excited for. Demon Days by Gorillaz. Just a powerhouse album, my second favorite album of all time. And yeah, we're going to be listening to it on a beautiful Vinyl Me Please pressing of that vinyl that I own. Cannot wait. That is going to be, again, December 13th, 10 p.m., up on YouTube the following day. And that will be our last episode of the semester. As I said, we're going to be doing some mini reviews over winter break, but we'll get into more of that in the upcoming episodes. So, just to keep you all updated, that is our schedule. So yeah, thank you all for listening. I think we're going to call it quits here at 12:08, almost 12:09 p.m. Any last words before we sign off here, DJ Burkhouse?
No, just thanks for listening, and if you want to come talk with us, let us know.
Yes,
it's
absolutely. Super fun. Reach out to us on social media. Come in here and we can have a chat about albums. We're definitely going to be having some guests in the future episodes. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, don't be scared.
And I forgot to mention earlier, if we're ever doing this show and you want to come chat with us, call into 724-738-2947. And we will have a ball listening to albums and chatting with you.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, I know it's 12:09, so it's technically not the day anymore, but I hope everybody had a good... What was today?
It was Thursday 10 minutes ago.
Right, but no, the G...
Glad Spirit Day.
Yeah, Glad Spirit Day.
Supporting LGBTQ youth and standing against bullying.
Right.
Everybody wear purple.
Right. So
Purple Rain.
I hope everybody wore purple today, and while you were listening to Purple Rain. If not, there's always next year. Thank you all for listening, and yeah, that is it. We're going to sign off. You have been listening to 88.1 FM WSRU Slippery Rock. We are owned by the Student Government Association of Slippery Rock University. WSRU is completely run by students of SRU, operating at a rocking 100 watts of power at 88.1 on the FM dial. This is Xiao Pao and
DJ Burkhouse.
Hoping you'll tune in to the best music college has to offer right here on 88.1 FM WSRU, the voice of the rock.